Question number 8. So question number 8 says to select the correct drop down to fill in the blanks. All right. So the question says three students are doing a test and the question asks to write the equation to model a real world scenario. So it says the members of a lacrosse team raised $2,863.50 to go to a tournament. They rented a bus for $1,087.50 and budgeted $74 per player for meals. Which equation or tape of diagram could be used to represent the context if X represents the number of players the team can bring to the tournament? All right. So first things first, I need to write the equation that represents that scenario. All right. So you should realize that because it says there's some amount that they're raising, all right, they have some starting amount and some amount that's changing as you have a certain amount of players. You know you're going to use your y equal mx plus b. All right. Where you know y represents your total, m represents your slope, and b is your y-intercept. All right. So what are some keywords for slope? Keywords are per, each, every, rate. All right. So those are some of the keywords. Okay. What are the keywords for y-intercept? Those keywords are start, initial, begin, flat. All right. So those are some keywords. Okay. So what we're going to do is that we're going to make an equation where you have sum total equals some slope x and some y-intercept. So your total is the easiest thing to identify because it's your largest amount. So my total is the 2,863.50. All right. Now we're going to look for our rate, okay, or our slope, okay? So to find our slope, what do you think represents our slope? Yes, the 74, because it says we're doing $74 for meals per player. So that means that that 74 represents the amount that's changing as you get more and more players, okay? And then the 1,087.50 cents is your starting or your initial amount, because that is what we're spending on the bus, and we don't need to rent the bus multiple times. I only need to rent the bus once, so that would mean that that would represent my y-intercept because I would be starting with that amount. That's what I'm going to pay regardless, okay? So looking at this, do you think student 1 got the correct equation? No, they got their y-intercept and their slope mixed up, all right? So student A is wrong because, again, they should have the 74 beside the x and not beside of the and not the 1087.5 beside the x. Okay? What about student 2? Student 2 is also wrong, all right? Because if we evaluate for student 2, all right, and I move that so again, I could make it look something like this, but it would not be correct because if I try to move this number over here, I would have 74x minus 1087.50 equal negative 2,863.5. And that one would be wrong, okay? And if I did the same thing with the 2,000, so if I try to move the 2,000 over here and move the 74 over here, I would have a positive 2,863.5, but then I would have a negative 74x because that's how I would be able to move it over to the other side. All right. So that is why these two reasons are the why this student 2 is wrong. Okay. So do you think student 3 is correct? Yes, because they have the 74x, the 1087.5, and the 2000 as the total. All right. So student 3 is correct. So in this box, I'll pick C. All right. Why is that person correct? Well, because the only thing that we're doing per person is the $70 for meals. All right. We're not going to do multiple bus rentals. We're only going to do multiple meals. All right. So the answer choice says each person needs to rent the bus. No, only one time you're renting the bus. So not all persons need to rent the bus. Only one time you're going to rent the bus. So this part is wrong. So the next one says each person needs to rent the bus and get a meal. No, Not every person needs to rent the bus. Every person needs a meal, but not every person needs to rent the bus. So this one is out. The next one says each person needs a meal, but each person does not need to rent the bus. And that would be the correct response. All right, so again, guys, just like that.